guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Beth. And for today's video, I am very excited to say that I'm going to be filming with the e.l.f. by Jennifer Coolidge collaboration. So this is the Dirty Pillows Lip Kit. So I'll be showing you everything that's in here as well as trying it on and doing some comparison swatches. But I thought it would be a good opportunity to just kind of do a full face of e.l.f. generally. So I will have timestamps down below if you'd like to jump ahead to the lip portion. But otherwise, I think I have like a full face of e.l.f. I had almost a full face and I just picked up a few last little things from CVS the other day. So I do have a new shade in there. What is this? Halo Glow Liquid Filter. And I even have some tools and that kind of thing as well. So if that all sounds good to you, make sure you hit the like and subscribe buttons. And without further ado, let's get into it. So as I think I mentioned, I did get a new shade of the Halo filter. This was the shade I had previously, which I think before the expansion was the lightest shade. This is number 1 Fair. I hate how they tape these now. On the lighter end of the spectrum, we had, I think, a Fair Cool and a Fair Warm. So I did go for the Fair Cool because I do have, I guess, more cool than warm undertone, certainly. So as we all know, I think by now, this is a kind of riff on the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. I have it in the shade 1 Fair as well. So I'll swatch all of those next to each other. So this new shade is 0.5. And I'll probably wear this one today, although it really still looks kind of peachy if I'm being honest. All right, and then next to it in the middle of my hand is the shade 1 Fair. So yeah, we went a little less peach, but they're still both pretty peachy. It would have been nice if we'd gone even, I guess, lighter and maybe pinkier. Compared to this product, is kind of getting a little old, to be entirely honest. But this is the Charlotte Tilbury shade 1. And I think I do have some samples of different Hollywood Flawless Filter shades. So if you are interested in some more comparisons, I'd be happy to do that. But yeah, that is the Charlotte Tilbury, the 1 Fair from e.l.f. and the 0.5. So it does seem that e.l.f. has a bit of a kind of cottage industry in duping Charlotte Tilbury products. So I'm just going to go directly onto the face and kind of apply this all over. I have worn the other shade like this, so I kind of figured that this, it makes a really awful noise. I kind of figured this shade would work that way as well. So it's kind of interesting doing this look. Like I have my my Bridgerton robe on that I got in London this past May. So I'm kind of leaning into the whole like dirty pillows, getting ready for bed idea. But obviously I will wash this off. So that is half of my face with the e.l.f. filter. And I'm just going to put a little bit of lip oil on. I did see some rumors that e.l.f. is going to be releasing a lip oil that looks an awful lot like the Dior lip oil. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Okay, so I'm going to even myself out here. Same shade. So I'll do some comparison swatches between the Jennifer Coolidge collab products and the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk. It'll be interesting to kind of see how similar they are. I think Charlotte Tilbury kind of famously said that like she wears makeup to bed, or her husband has never seen her without makeup, that kind of thing, which I think a lot of people found kind of, I don't know, incredible on several levels. And I think after she got kind of some pushback about sleeping in your makeup, that kind of thing, I think she said something about like, she does like a different makeup look at night. Like, I don't know if it's just like some eye makeup or what, but I don't know. If I can find what I'm talking about, I'll link it down below. Okay, so that is it for the Halo Glow Liquid Filter. And hopefully we'll kind of even out a little bit here. I do have another relatively new e.l.f. product. I had kind of picked up a lot of e.l.f. products here and there as they were coming out. And this is a product I haven't actually tried before. This is the e.l.f. Putty Color Correcting Eye Brightener. So I'm going to put this underneath my pretty thin texture, but for me it's a good color. I'd have to double check to see what other shade options there are, but that does a pretty good job in comparison to the e.l.f. or not the e.l.f. the NARS eye brightener in Night Swan. That one is much yellower. I have the NARS one right here. So this is in Night Swan. So you can see how much more kind of yellow leaning this one is going to be. I can still make it work, but I think I prefer the e.l.f. The e.l.f. is also, I think, a little bit on the thinner side. You can see that on my fingers. And they do also have a corrector, which I'll swatch. So that is the NARS and the e.l.f. You'll see the NARS definitely has more kind of pigment to it. And I guess for like a no makeup, I could deal with this. I generally do wear a corrector underneath makeup, but the like dedicated corrector that e.l.f. sells in Peach is kind of too dark, just flat out too dark. So I'll compare that to my go-to Charlotte Tilbury corrector. I have definitely hit pan, and I think I have a backup as well. So this is a really good, I mean, it's still peach, but it's definitely a softer peach, a little bit more similar to the NARS product. If you really like the doe foot style, this Tarte corrector in pink, and interestingly, I think the e.l.f. and the Tarte correctors kind of launched at the same time, but this kind of shade, the one from Tarte, works better for me. So if you do want some more kind of heavy duty correcting and you want to go in that more pink direction, the Tarte is a good place to start. Okay, so that was a little bit of a detour. I do have the green color corrector from e.l.f. as well. This one I think I do like better than the Tarte one because the Tarte one is a little bit too pigmented. So this one is better for kind of all over redness cancellation, but I don't think I really need to use this today. So I'm just going to skip on that. And I do have a sponge that I'll use. This is just their blending sponge. So I'll go clean this off my hands and wet this, and I'll be right back. So that's what the sponge looks like after it is wet. Expanded quite a bit. But yeah, e.l.f. does sell quite a few different sponges. In fact, I have, I guess what they sell to go with their camo concealers. I probably will just use one sponge for everything because I don't feel like getting another sponge dirty, but if you wanted that kind of really, I guess, tapered sponge for underneath the eyes, you could do that. Okay, so for my complexion product, I have the e.l.f. Camo CC Cream. I was kind of shopping around on the e.l.f. website, and I looked at obviously the new products, and I don't have everything that's new, but I kind of picked out, I guess, what was interesting to me. And then I looked at bestsellers, and I don't know if they have like a trending section, but it seems like this is, I guess, doing decently well on TikTok from what I gather. This is in the shade 120N, Fair 120N, and has a pump. If I'm being entirely honest, this is expired. It tells you the actual expiration date because it has octinoxate as a chemical sunscreen. So I had to pull that one out of my declutter bin, if you want to say that. So, of course, it is nighttime, and I wouldn't be relying on that product for my sunscreen anyway, but that is the kind of texture. It's a bit kind of on the thicker side. I know I've used this product before, I think on camera, so if how it looks to you is different than your experience with it, just let me know, but otherwise, I think the nature of the product packaging, it's not going to be much different. And I probably have complexion products in my collection that are just as old, if not older, and I just don't have the indication that they're expired because they don't have a expiration date. So that is with and without. I think it's a decent shade match. It's a little yellow, and it is a neutral shade. I don't know, didn't feel like spending another $10-15 to repurchase this product for the sake of this video, so I figured I'd just go with it. And knock on wood, my skin has been doing decently well. So this is a little bit thicker, like you can kind of use it around the eyes and that kind of thing, but I think I'm going to want a brush maybe to get around the nose. Yeah, and I think this product is supposed to be kind of a dupe for the It Cosmetics one. So that is what the complexion is looking like. Obviously, I haven't done concealer yet. So for concealer, not too long ago, I did purchase a new shade in the Hydrating Camo Concealer. So this is the shade Fair Rose. I had some other shades that I think I just need to get rid of because they're looking a little separated, and I think this is a much better shade for me as well. I think I might just kind of keep it underneath the eyes. And I didn't go out and buy a complete set of e.l.f. brushes or anything. I just happen to have a few. So this is the BK A506. And if you're a fan of BK brushes, they did just launch a travel set. So nice amount of coverage, especially considering that the kind of correcting step wasn't overly high coverage. In fact, it was more light coverage. So I like to go, I guess, a little bright with my concealers, like nothing crazy, but I don't mind a bit of brightness. And then once I kind of spread things out with the brush, I usually will take my sponge. You can make it work. And they do have a lot of different sponge options. I just picked this one. So just kind of, I guess, tap it in, pick up any excess. I think that looks pretty good. Okay, so next up, usually I do my brows because I just feel like I need to do them. And I did pick up a tinted brow gel. So this is the Wow Brow in Taupe Volumizing Fiber Gel. And this was one of my CVS purchases. I'll pick this up to open it. I usually pick out some kind of spatula to help me open boxes without just completely tearing them to shreds. And I know the brow lift, I think it is really popular, the Anastasia dupe, and that's why I have this applicator. So I think I have used that before, and they're soap brow, but this is my preferred type of brow product. And I don't think I've tried this. I think you can see the little fibers maybe. So that's the applicator. It's a little bit pointed, but it's mostly just kind of long. And I really like the Benefit Gimme Brow and the Kosas one. So far, so good. And then I just kind of, I don't know, tamp down any of the crazy ones on top. So that's promising. It doesn't feel too goopy or anything. Yeah, so far, so good on that. I don't think I really heard anyone talk about this, or if it's new, I just kind of missed out on the announcement. But yeah, I like that. And in fact, I had been kind of putting off repurchasing the Kosas or the Benefit just because, you know, they're both, I think, in the $20 range, and it's not exactly the most exciting thing to purchase. So, but yeah, if I can get away with that, I'm pleased. Okay, so next up we have the Halo Glow Beauty Wand Contour, and of course, this is kind of a dupe for the Charlotte Tilbury Contour Wand, and I will swatch them for you, of course. I still have been meaning to do some comparison swatches of different contours, especially different liquid contours, because I think I do prefer either a liquid or a cream, and I think I especially like a liquid. So this is the Charlotte Tilbury in Fair Medium, and this is the e.l.f. in Fair Light. So similar style of packaging, not identical. This one has a twist off versus this one that you pull off, but this one has an internal mechanism that you can twist to close. You can see right off the bat how much cooler that e.l.f. is, which for me actually is preferable because we are going for an actual contour and not a bronzer or bronzer situation. This isn't my favorite mechanism, if I'm being entirely honest. So just gonna draw it down the chin. And I'm not squeezing out any more product. I'm just kind of letting whatever is on the applicator, and then I just like to go down the tip of the nose. So if that's a little bit lighter, it's probably for the best. And the nose is one area that I feel like if anything is going to be a little bit warmer, I'd want it to be on the nose, because that is also a spot where you bronze generally. So BK 101, and hopefully Hopefully this all blends out without too much trouble. And I haven't set the e.l.f. foundation or CC cream. So you can see it does give a really nice kind of shadow. And then I like to just take the tip and go like that. So I think that looks pretty good. If I feel like I got the nose a little bit crooked, I can just take my concealer brush and just kind of go down that way. Okay, so that was it for contour. For blush, I guess I'll try and stay with the like Charlotte Tilbury dupe kind of framework. I have two of the blushes, the shades, what is it? Rosé You Slay and Candlelit. Candlelit might be kind of nice for this look, perhaps. And of course, they also have their putty blushes, but like I said, I might try to go with the the Charlotte Tilbury theme here. And actually, before I do that, I think I want to do some bronzer. So they do have their putty bronzer, and I have two shades. I think these are both matte. I have the shades, they always make it so hard to see. This one is Tan Lines, and this one is Feelin' Shady. So you could use this as a contour. I'll quickly, I guess, try to swatch them for you. But because we already did the contour, I think this is where I do want a little bit more warmth. So those are the two bronzer shades. And again, just for reference. So really, the Feeling Shady is pretty close to the contour wand. It's just like a different formulation. So you may prefer one over the other. But I think for the bronzer, I do have their putty bronzer brush. And I mean, they have to make it small enough so it would fit in the pan, but I don't know. I would prefer something a little bit bigger for bronzer generally. And I think that's just part of the problem of using this kind of pot packaging. So I'm just gonna focus. I think for me, it's a little bit harder to get a more diffused application with a product like this and this kind of mechanism. So I'm just gonna go kind of across the temples and down onto the cheeks. So yeah, that's not how we're gonna leave it, don't worry. For reference, for comparison, the brush I like to use for the like Makeup by Mario Skin Enhancer is this BK 105. So this pretty much takes up like your entire forehead. But because we are going in with the other brush, I'm just going to blend out with a sponge. I think if you were doing underpainting, and maybe not as specifically bronzer, but especially like contour, you might want to have that more kind of defined area of bronzer. But it does blend out nicely with a sponge, so I can live with that. Okay, so now going back to the blush, and this is the shade Candlelit? Yeah, Candlelit. And I know people really love the Charlotte Tilbury Cream Bronzer. I don't have that one. It's kind of on my, like, thinking about buying at some point maybe. But yeah, I don't have it, so I can't compare it to the e.l.f. And I think they do have a putty blush brush, which I don't know. I'll probably just end up using my sponge, to be honest. Okay, so this is the shade Candlelit. You can see I haven't used it yet. That's how it looks when it's fresh. I always love, yeah, that's how it kind of comes out. So this is kind of the shimmery formulation. I wouldn't be surprised if e.l.f. comes out with their matte version now to kind of match the Charlotte Tilbury matte blushes. I think Makeup Revolution, which is another kind of dupe brand sometimes, they, I think, have already come out with some matte blushes. So this is the shade Rosé You Slay. And this one is going to be a little bit more pinky. There you go. So I could kind of go either way, honestly. The Candlelit is just a little bit more peach, I suppose. All right, so I did grab Pinkgasm from Charlotte Tilbury, which I don't think she marketed these as, well, she calls them high blushes. So same kind of highlightery blush idea. So that is how Pinkgasm compares to the two from e.l.f. that I have anyway. It looks like it is more pigmented. I kind of squeezed out a lot there, to be honest. Yeah, not my favorite mechanism, I guess, in general. I've thought about, I guess, filming a dedicated, like, Charlotte Tilbury dupes video, and especially, like, with the Laura Mercier ones that came out, I think that just kind of, I don't know, set me over the edge a little bit. But, you know, I was thinking about it, and I was thinking that not all of, like, usually these components are not bespoke. They're not really custom to one brand. So whoever is inventing or creating these components, they make the component and then they sell them to the brands. At least that's how I think it works. And so various brands can buy the same component. And yeah, like I'm sure a lot of them are using this component because it's recognizable as being the Charlotte Tilbury type product. And so people want to get the Charlotte Tilbury type product for less. Although now with like Laura Mercier and Tarte coming out with products like this, or in that packaging, it's not really cheaper anymore. But I guess at least the market has shown that people like that style of packaging. What I'm trying to say is it just, there's been kind of a new, that's very sheer, a new creation kind of thing where something is newly available and so like brands are going to use it, or are they just being copycats? And just to compare it, I guess, in a way that makes sense to me, I think there used to be a time when all cosmetics, like lip and cheek type products, were in little pots like this, like little pots of rouge kind of thing. And we've kind of moved beyond that. Like obviously we have different formulations now, powders, that kind of thing, sticks even. So yeah, like we do still have pots of product, but it's maybe not as common as it used to be. And if you've ever seen like Besame Cosmetics, they still sell, or at least they used to sell, like cake mascara where you actually have to get a spoolie and wet it and then rub it on the cake to actually get product up, and then you would use that on your eyelashes. So that was how mascara was originally sold, manufactured and sold. I think I could use a little bit more color maybe. Yeah, that one didn't have a ton. Maybe I'll try some of Rosé You Slay as well. So yeah, so that used to be just kind of how that product was made, and I don't know who it was who first put mascara in a tube, but at some point the industry moved away from cakes of mascara to tubes, and now the cakes of mascara are kind of a novelty, and most mascaras are sold in a tube. But for a brand to come out with a new mascara, people don't look at that and say, oh, you know, you're ripping off so-and-so, Maybelline, Great Lash, for example, because you put your product in a tube like theirs. We can still kind of, I guess, talk about, I guess, brush type, because there are so many different variations, and you can recognize that some brushes seem to be the same, and brands will often make a big deal over their brush if they say that it's some kind of like revolutionary new design that's supposed to do something special. So there's still, I guess, that part of it, but I think you get what I'm saying. Like it's not, I don't know, my thoughts on this have kind of, I guess, evolved, or the more I think about it, I'm just, I guess, not sure exactly how I feel about it. So I'm going to use some of the Putty blush in the shade, again, they make it so hard to see the shade, Tahiti, I'm pretty sure. And I will use the Putty blush brush. It's kind of a stippling brush. With a cream blush, actually, I do often like to warm it up on my fingers a little bit, but this does fine. I know if you have long nails or you just don't want to get your fingers dirty, this works well enough. It's probably still not my like absolute favorite, but I think it works well enough. I do like, this is a kind of special brush they made for their, I guess, putty primer. So it also fits, and if you do like kind of a more dense brush like that, that would be a good place to go. And if you do feel like you went a little bit too heavy-handed, of course, you can just tap over the same sponge. So I do have highlighter, again, sticking with the same same idea. So this is the highlighter in Champagne Campaign. And we'll swatch it next to Spotlight from Charlotte Tilbury. All right, so that is the e.l.f. A little bit dark, maybe. I just have one of the minis of the Spotlight, which I think she's re-released. I know I've compared various quote-unquote dupes of this product. So I'm just getting a little dried out, actually. But there is just something really, I think, special about this shade. Hopefully you can see that. Although they're not too far off. Like if I get the light to hit them, that one is the Charlotte Tilbury. It's just a little bit less peach. I don't know, really like the reflect of that product. But we'll try this one. I do like a liquid highlighter. I still haven't set anything, so I don't really feel like I need to set under my eyes maybe, but so again, I don't think it's quite as special as the Charlotte Tilbury, but you know, if you're on a budget or whatever, I think again, it's a solid option. I think what we've seen from e.l.f. over the last few years has been really impressive because, yeah, their prices are getting up there in some areas. Do you remember when like everything was $1 pretty much? You know, that wouldn't be sustainable. I'm going to go in with the Shadow Lock Eyelid Primer. This was another product I just picked up at CVS to kind of complete my full face. And this one has a little doe foot applicator. Ooh, it just went on feeling kind of dry. I'm not going to do a wear test tonight or anything, but I think if you do want a good kind of drugstore priced option, the Ulta one is really good. The Moira one I actually used earlier today and it ended up creasing on me, so I'm not, I guess, the biggest fan of that one. And then what I like to do, I'll go ahead and set my under eyes. So again, I just picked up their Perfect Finish HD powder. I don't know if this is any good or not, but again, it was at CVS, so it was there. They did have like some tinted versions, but this one is just translucent. And of course, the greatest mistake e.l.f. has ever made was to discontinue their small tapered brush, which is what I like always use basically for setting powder. So still clinging to it, but yeah. Hopefully you can see there's some creasing underneath my eyes. I typically will get those lines no matter what I do. The rest of the concealer is not bad. I just like to set my under eyes, and that is the kind of before and after. A decent amount does pick up, and that's one of the reasons why I do like this brush so much, is that it has dark bristles, and so for powder I can kind of see really easily how much is on the brush. So that again is why I'm kind of clinging to it. And the CC cream isn't really settling too much on like my forehead line. Maybe I'll just do some kind of light powdering. I do have dry skin, by the way. So I don't know. It seemed to do the job for a translucent powder. It does have this kind of compartment underneath. It didn't come with a sponge or anything, I don't think, but yeah, I thought it was interesting that they did that. It does have a mirror as well. So not a terrible compact. I guess you can try and fit like a powder puff in there or something. I don't know. Okay, so that is it for priming the lids, and I have quite a few of they call them bite-size eyeshadows. So I thought this was fun. They have I Love You a Latte. I think they had this before the latte trend, but that is an all matte look. I do like a little bit of shimmer on the lids. We have Cream and Sugar, which is a contender. I have some of these blush and highlighter duos as well, but that's not what we want to do here. And then we have Pumpkin Pie, really good for this time of year. I try to just cut the packaging open rather than pulling off the whole label, just because it's easier to read than that like tiny sticker on the back. So that's why some of them look like that. But yeah, Pumpkin Pie, Truffles. One might be a little bit dark. Yeah, so I think I'm kind of leaning between Cream and Sugar and Rose Water. I think I might do Cream and Sugar because I think I'm leaning a little bit warm overall. Okay, so for this one, I'm just gonna take my little Inglot brush and go into that cream shade. I probably could have like set my primer with this instead of the setting powder. I did set my eyelids, right? I just couldn't remember. But yeah, that's fine. So I just like to kind of set down a base of like a neutral powder. And they're playing soccer outside in case you can hear the whistle. So nothing too crazy. And then again, to help prevent any creasing that might pop up, I might reach into, actually, I think I'm gonna reach into this I Love You a Latte quad as well, because this has some nice like mid-tone mattes. So going into this one, the Cream and Sugar with my little Inglot brush, or not Inglot, this is Sonia G. We do want, I guess, somewhat of a sultry eye look here. So I'm gonna take that like more kind of neutral brown, I guess, on a Sonia G Classic crease and start to build up some depth. I think these quads are pretty beginner friendly, both in, unless you get it into your eye, that is, both in terms of, I guess, pigmentation and blendability and price point, obviously. So I think, you know, a decent little drugstore option. Obviously, Charlotte Tilbury does sell quads as well, but I'm going to use that darkest brown in this one as well, the latte, because I think this one is just a little bit darker, so I'm going to go with the lighter one. Yeah, so Charlotte Tilbury does sell quads, obviously, but so do a lot of brands. So this is the mini booster. So I try to create this like kind of 7 shape, outer V, we used to call it. I mean, really not terrible pigmentation. I am purposely kind of going in with a light hand, and then I'll blend. And because I've hooded eyes, I try to take it above like the natural crease. All right, so going back to the Classic crease, and I'm gonna go in just with a kind of, I guess, relatively clean brush to start. Yeah, and I think just to kind of balance it out, I'm going to take my little mini booster and going into that kind of taupey shade again, or neutral brown. It's not really a taupe. All right, so I'm gonna leave it there until I get some shimmer on the lids. I'm going to take the darker metallic shade on a rougher number 28 brush, just a dry brush. So pretty decent, I think, for a dry brush. So I'm taking that in a little bit over halfway, and then going in with the lighter shade and same brush. I can feel a little bit of fallout. These are going to be a little bit on the thicker side in terms of shadow. Metallics are, so it may or may not be your preference. Light shade is, it's definitely light. I think I actually, like I said, I kind of want it to be a little bit more sultry, so I'm gonna take that darker metallic again and I guess just kind of go over it. A little bit more of a bedroom eye. Haki just did a face watching video of her like bedroom eyes browns, she calls them. I think she did include Oyster Pearl from Charlotte Tilbury. Can't remember if there were any other Charlotte Tilbury products. Okay, so I'm going to, I guess, leave it there. This look isn't really about the eyeshadow. And for eyeliner, if I can find my liner brush. It's this really tiny one from BK, so it likes to get lost. Okay, so I have from e.l.f. the No Budge Retractable Eyeliner. This is water resistant, and it is in the shade Coffee or Cafe. So again, I picked this one up from CVS, and this is not my preferred type of liner. I like a sharpenable one, but I was at the mercy of what they had. And this does feel very, very stiff. There's one stiff thing we want in the bedroom. It's not your eyeliner. Yeah, this is not doing it for me. Sorry guys. I'm going to instead go for a Lisa Eldridge one, which I know is not, well, actually I take it back. I do still have out here, I have the Charlotte Tilbury Rock and Coal in Barbarella Brown. that needs a sharpen. This one is a sharpenable, but still not my favorite, but it'll do. And as you probably know, sometimes when you buy things like off the shelf at the store, you don't really know how long they've been there. So maybe if you were to, I don't think that's doing it for me either. Told you, I like what I like. And I am, I guess, a little picky when it comes to eyeliner. So I was looking for the Lisa Eldridge, but I think it's buried a bit at the moment. I do have a video comparing, like doing a side-by-side wear test and everything between the Victoria Beckham and the Lisa Eldridge. Hopefully you can see just like how much easier that is. And then I just like to take my little angled brush here to kind of blend it out a little bit. And what I usually like to do, I don't know if this is the most like sultry approach, but I'll just run the brush over the eyeliner and then knock off the tip of the eyeliner with my thumb because I'm juggling too much. This eye look is not cooperating tonight. And I will say that I think, like, granted the Lisa Eldridge liners are newer to my collection, so, you know, in theory they're fresher. But if you do like this kind of technique, it's even easier with the, I think, Lisa Eldridge. I think those are a little bit creamier. Kind of depends how you like to use your eyeliner. All right, I think that's good enough. Once we get mascara on, hopefully it'll all come together. And that e.l.f. liner, like it does want to stay put, so I'll give them that. But I do have kind of watery eyes, but I don't really have any issue with like either the Victoria Beckham or the Lisa Eldridge. Okay, so for mascara, I do have a, I guess, sample size of the Big Mood mascara from e.l.f. This was, I think, like a gift with purchase. e.l.f. is pretty good about, I think, their loyalty program, like gifts with purchase, that kind of thing. I was going to put the Clinique Bottom Lash on my lower lashes because that is a tubing formula, and it just also has a very small brush. Okay, so this is, I think it has an hourglass shaped brush to it. Oof. That's a little big. I don't know if this is supposed to be a dupe for the Better Than Sex mascara. Let me grab a sample of that mascara, actually. Makeup brands do like their, this isn't even a double entendre. It's just flat out telling you. So I have this sample of Better Than Sex. And again, like, is an hourglass brush really that revolutionary at this point? No, but I mean, I'd say the Big Mood is even bigger, right, than the Better Than Sex. So not the same, but I thought it would be worthwhile to compare it. And because I'm a little intimidated by that brush, I found my Lisa Eldridge liner, so there's that. All right, well, it looks like it's not happening for the Clinique Bottom Lash tonight. I just used it earlier today, so I really don't know what I did with it. But okay, going in with this, I'm just kind of trying to take the tip of the brush. All right, that worked out better than I was hoping it would. And then taking my Surratt lash curlers. I do like a volumizing mascara, but a brush this big is just a little bit difficult for me in my eye shape. So if you absolutely don't want clumpiness, I can see how, especially after this one has aged a little bit, it might be a little on the clumpy side. Not bad though. I mean, I feel like I don't get quite as much lift as I do with the Tarte White's Caramel Splashes, but that is a waterproof formula. But obviously I don't know how this one wears or its longevity. I don't hate it though. So that's a good sign. Okay, so let us get eyeliner off my hand. Okay, so for the pièce de résistance, I have, of course, the kit, the lip kit. So it comes like so. It's actually really nice packaging. I want to say this retails for like $25, and I think you get free shipping at e.l.f. on $30 or $35 orders. So has an outer sleeve, and this one was like really crammed into the shipping box. In fact, I think you can see some of the markings from the cardboard box on there. So I was happy to see that they still have this kind of packaging, so it's a little bit more protected. And this says a pout of the box, like out of the box, I guess. Pout of the box liner, lipstick, gloss, and mirror is what you get. It says shape and define lips with cream glide lip liner. Apply O-Face satin lipstick and dirty pillows to lips in one stroke. Finish the look with lip plumping gloss and swollen for the ultimate pillowy pout. And 4, pucker up and admire your lips. You'll be elfing obsessed. So if you guys haven't seen the, I guess the ad campaign or ad they did with Jennifer Coolidge, I definitely recommend taking a look because it was, of course, very fun. And then on the inside it says, I didn't think this would look so good is what it says. And it has this nice kind of satin box. It's like kind of cushy for some reason. And it looks like they did change the actual packaging a little bit. So inside here we have this Dirty Pillows mirror, and that has just like a little snap closure. And then this is the mirror. It says lips are the mirror to your soul. And then it says e.l.f. by Jennifer Coolidge, made in China. And okay, so if you do remove this, it removes the made in China, but it keeps the e.l.f. by Jennifer Coolidge. So good to see that. Okay, so let's do some swatches, shall we? Okay, so this is very, very pointy lip liner actually. This is the Cream Glide Lip Liner in Fill Frontal. You can see it is black with gold packaging. Okay, it is pretty soft. I was a little concerned by how pointy it was, but that is pretty soft. And of course I will swatch this next to the Pillow Talk Do Iconic Nude for funsies. That is Iconic Nude. This appears to be a different formulation from what I can tell. And then I have Pillow Talk and Pillow Talk 2 Medium. Okay, so Pillow Talk is actually going to be a lot pinkier. I think the e.l.f. product actually looks a bit more like Iconic Nude. Ooh, I'm gonna need to replace this one. It's getting a little dried out. And that is Pillow Talk 2 Medium on top. So yeah, so I think Iconic Nude is going to be closer. That's interesting. And I will, I guess, swatch the gloss. It just says swollen on it. I don't know. I just find that funny. Okay, so let's see if this smells. It has kind of a vanilla scent to it. I don't think I have any plumping glosses from e.l.f. Definitely feels like it's kind of on the stickier side, and it's pretty clear. So we'll come back to that. And it feels like, just for reference, like there's, I think, a box underneath here that kind of has the outline, and then the satin is just kind of over the top. I do like that they did a box like this though. I think it's fun. Even the mirror has its own little tray area. And then the lipstick, oh, and it has JC on the top. That's really cute. So it is shinier plastic than their like typical O-Face lipsticks. So you can see this one has like the soft matte type packaging, and this one has the shiny black plastic. And this has e.l.f. in white, and this is e.l.f. in gold. And it says Dirty Pillows on the inside. Yeah, and it is magnetic too. I'm glad they kept that detail because it does make it feel more luxe. The bullet, it says e.l.f. on it, and that is the color. Definitely going to be on the peachier side. And I'll just swatch the lip pencil again next to everything, just so you can kind of see. So that is the full kit there. I will admit that I'm not as big a fan of these lipsticks as some people seem to be. I think they are supposed to be kind of imitating the NARS Audacious lipsticks. So really do like these. For some reason, the e.l.f. ones just don't seem quite, I don't know, quite as creamy or whatever. So I thought I would just quickly compare. I have this red shade called No Regrets. That is the e.l.f. color. And this one is Carmen from NARS. I'm not sure if this was a I mean, I don't know if you can see. It's like more kind of like one swipe. I'll do it again. That's NARS Carmen. This is more about the formula than the shade, but anyway. And then that is the e.l.f. So, I mean, that's not to say it can't be a good satin lipstick in its own right, but as far as like duping the NARS formula, I don't think it's quite there. Okay, so the moment has arrived. Might as well. It is kind of a heavy mirror. I'm not sure I actually want to hold this up, to be entirely honest. But okay, let's start with the pencil, obviously. So my lips do feel pretty kind of hydrated. I mean, I think most of the lip oil has either absorbed or worn off, but it definitely does help lip products kind of glide on. This is a little bit more nude than I would probably typically go. Okay, so I will call it there. And then going in with the lipstick. I mean, the packaging, I like the detail. The plastic itself does feel a little cheap. I think I prefer the soft touch, but I mean, it's e.l.f., right? So I could have exfoliated my lips, actually. I do have their like lip exfoliant, but hopefully the gloss will kind of help with that. And like I said, this is a satin formula, so it's going to be more forgiving. All right, so that is with the lipstick. And then finally, the gloss. It does kind of almost give you like a vinyl effect. And yeah, I can feel it start to tingle. I was about to say, I don't know if this actually has any kind of ingredients. I typically do not like plumping products. So this has, let's see, has menthol lactate. Yeah, it does have menthol. So it's going to be like I guess the minty variety of tingling rather than the like spicy, if that helps. It says stop use if irritation occurs, but that's kind of the whole point, isn't it? And this eye is watering just a tad. I feel like that mascara might be flaking a little bit on me. Okay. So that is the final look. I think I was pretty successful actually in getting kind of a cohesive look, because I think, as I said, I was buying things over a period of time, not with the intention of putting them together with this lip kit. So it was just kind of doing the best I could with what I had. So yeah, I don't hate it. I think this is actually more of a, I don't know, like polished professional look than I was maybe going for, but yeah, I'll take it. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I think the Jennifer Coolidge set is currently out of stock, but I think e.l.f. is going to be restocking. So I will have everything linked for you down below. Those are affiliate links, so thank you in advance if you choose to use them and support my channel. I do make a small commission on the sale at no cost to you if you choose to use them. But as you can imagine, I spend way more than I make in affiliate links on makeup for this channel. So that is everything. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know if you have any favorite e.l.f. products that I didn't use today. And until next time, I hope you guys are all doing well and staying safe, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.